Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
After taking the first two games of the homestand, the Diamondbacks tonight meet the Mets. The last time these two faced off, the D-backs won in 15 innings at Citi Field. Now, native New Yorker Patrick Corbin takes the mound, looking for his 13th win. After an off day in the desert, the Diamondbacks look to keep the offense going. 15 runs over the last two games. Now it's game one versus the Mets next on Fox Sports Arizona. Back home in Arizona, the Valley of the Sun, Grand Canyon, the whole thing. The Diamondbacks continue their long homestand. Fans flocking into Chase Field tonight. Goldie bobblehead day here tomorrow. A big night tonight as Kirk Gibson and company open up a three-game series against the New York Mets as the Diamondbacks prepare to meet the Mets here on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune and Bob Brenly along the way. And if it seems like we've seen a lot of the Mets this season, it's because we have. The last time we played the Mets in New York, July 1st through the 4th, it ended in 15 innings, Bob, on the 4th of July. Every game, it seemed, had a different drama, different storyline, and it turned out to be a long 4 games.
At times, it looked like neither team wanted to win any of those 4 ball games. The fans that were at Citi Field during that 4-game series certainly got their money's worth. Average game time over 4 hours. I'll tell you what, they were exciting ball games, but it took a long time to get them in the books.
Oh, that was part of a National League East road trip. The Diamondbacks went through Washington, they went through Atlanta, and they finished in New York, all places where Martin Prado played a lot during his career with the Braves. And, Bob, it seemed that on that road trip, he figured it out as a Diamondback.
Yeah, this is a swing that he took earlier this season when he was really struggling to find his swing. This is a swing he took last night. His balance is so much better. We're going to show you these two swings. On the left, watch his back foot. Kind of sliding around, moving around. He's off balance, feeling for the ball with the bat. On the right is a recent swing. Balance is perfect. Back foot is planted, driving that bat through the hitting zone. He is as locked in as we've seen him as a member of the Diamondbacks.
And June 25th was the date on which that long road trip began through Washington, Atlanta, and New York, and you can see what Prado has done since.
And it's a welcome addition to this offense. Cody Ross has heated up as Paul Goldschmidt has cooled off a little bit, so nice to see Martin putting up those kind of numbers.
Yeah, the offense has picked up here. They just swept the Rays in a 2-game series, and after a day off, it's the ace on the mound tonight, the All-Star, Patrick Corbin. He pitched at Citi Field in the All-Star game tonight. He's back home at Chase Field against the Mets. The offense looks to help more coming up. Golden Opportunity Sales Event is here. And by Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
And welcome back to downtown Phoenix, where it is Wild West night here at Chase Field as the D-backs continue their 8-game homestand. The Rays are gone, and in their place, the Mets from New York. Welcome back to the field. Brad Steinke with you. You know, it is always a good thing for the Arizona Diamondbacks when Patrick Corbin takes the mound. The D-backs so far this season 18-4 when the lefty gets the start. Although right now the All-Star is kind of going through a personal 2-game losing streak, kind of a tough luck stretch. He's 3-2 over his last 5 games, but he had a great game against the Padres. Went 8 innings, gave up only 1 earned run, and then against Boston he went 6 with 3 earned runs. The only problem, he got only 1 run of support in both of those games. So certainly Patrick Corbin hoping the offense has been very much like it was against the Rays, as the D-backs put 20 hits and 15 runs combined on the board to sweep that series. So stay with us. Patrick Corbin returns to the mound, and the D-backs looking to keep this great offensive output going. Steve and Bob have the call next on Fox Sports Arizona.
Series against these New York Mets, who are coming off a sweep of the Rockies at Citi Field. Terry Collins' team 11-10 since the All-Star break, and they are now back out on the road. Tonight begins an 11-game, 4-city road trip. They'll go through Arizona, the Dodgers, the Padres, and then one of those stopovers that you love so much, Bob. They have to, on the way back home, stop in Minnesota and make up a game against the Twins.
Yeah, it's kind of on the way. What the heck?
This is their lineup tonight.
Yeah, Eric Young in the top spot. Juan Lagar is hitting second. Daniel Murphy swinging a hot bat, batting third. Marlon Byrd, 1 homer away from 100 in his career, will be the cleanup hitter tonight. Josh Satin at first. Justin Turner at shortstop. Wilmer Flores filling in for David Wright over there at third base. They really miss their captain. John Buck doing the catching tonight, and right-hander Jeremy Hefner on the mound for the Mets.
And on the mound for the Diamondbacks, Patrick Corbin, their 24-year-old left-hander out of Clay, New York. His 23rd start of the season, 12 wins, an ERA that is third best in all of baseball, behind only Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers and the Mets' Matt Harvey. We do not see Harvey in this series. Diamondbacks will miss him over the weekend. Eric Young Jr. will lead it off for the Mets, first of 3 against New York here at Chase Field. Hope you'll join us this weekend for some Diamondbacks baseball as they track down the Dodgers in the NL West and the Reds in the NL Wild Card. There's the strike, 0-1. We're underway. Mark Wagner is the home plate umpire. Seems fitting that we start the game off with a first pitch strike by Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, anything else would seem odd. Well, and the amazing thing is that's basically been what he's done since spring training. Pound that strike zone with the first pitch. Opposing hitters know he's going to do it, but rarely leaves that ball over the middle of the plate. Quality first pitch strikes.
EY Jr. coming in with a 5-game hitting streak. And he's been a nice addition to the Mets. Their outfield has been one of the pleasant surprises this year, and the acquisition of Eric Young Jr. from the Rockies has been part of that. It's given them a dimension they haven't had in a while. Good start for Patrick Corbin, one away. Defensively, and this is a hold the phones headline making move here, Bob. For the third straight game, the same lineup offensively and defensively.
Well, our graphics people really appreciated Gibby. Prado in left, Eaton in center, Ross in right once again. Chavez, Gregorius, Hill, and Goldschmidt third to first across the infield. Will Nieves continuing to do the catching for the D-backs, and Patrick Corbin on the mound.
Juan Lagares, the center fielder. 266 and 2 home runs. And this guy has been a very pleasant surprise for the Mets this year.
Yeah, you talk about the changes to their outfield, especially Young and Lagares. The defense, that's something that the Mets had been lacking in recent years. Guys that could run them down in the gaps, take some base hits away. Marlon Byrd in right field doing a nice job as well.
Yeah, he's among the leaders in outfield assists. Lagares is a guy who needed a body, and he's been a very pleasant surprise.
You don't realize how much you miss superior defense in the outfield until you have bad defense in the outfield.
Speaking of which, very superior defense. Patrick Corbin jumped out ahead, but now he's run it full 3-2. Daniel Murphy is on deck. On the ground to second base, Aaron Hill. 2 down.
It sure would be nice for the D-backs to put some offense on the board for Patrick Corbin tonight. Seems like we've said that in quite a few of his starts this year. 12 of his 22 starts, his offense has given him 2 or fewer runs of support this year.
Especially his last 2 starts. It's been rough going. Look at the difference there in run support. Misses there to Daniel Murphy, 1-0. Murphy 278 and 9 homers. He comes into this series riding a 5-game hit streak.
When you face certain opposing pitchers, especially lefty on lefty like Murphy here on Patrick Corbin, he probably has a couple of extra bats ready to go tonight. Some guys that you have had issues with in the past, their stuff just doesn't match up well with your swing. Usually you bring an extra bat or 2 out to the bench just in case.
1-2. Mets are without the injured David Wright, presumably for the rest of this month. He's got a fairly serious right hamstring strain. There has been talk of moving Daniel Murphy from second to third to fill in for Wright. Murphy came up as a third baseman, but they're taking a wait-and-see approach with one of their top prospects, Wilmer Flores, who's at third base tonight. They're anxious to see what he can do at the major league level. And Terry Collins had mentioned that, okay, if I move Murphy over to third, then there's just a whole domino effect here, and we have Wilmer Flores, so let's get a look. And they've been excited about him for a while. Chases that one in the dirt, and that's the end of the inning. 2 strikeout for Patrick Corbin. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up, the red-hot Martin Prado. Company set to lead it off in the home half of the first. Kirk Gibson's Diamondbacks 3 games over 500, 5.5 behind the Dodgers for the NL West lead, 4.5 behind the Reds for the second NL wild card, and as we mentioned, for the third straight night, this is it.
Easy to keep a lineup card. Adam Eaton at the top, Martin Prado in the 2-hole, Paul Goldschmidt in his customary 3 spot. It'll be Chavez, Hill, and Ross in the middle, Will Nieves, Didi Gregorius, and Patrick Corbin at the bottom.
And Adam Eaton set to lead it off against the right-hander. This is Jeremy Hefner. The numbers on the 27-year-old Hefner out of Perkins, Oklahoma, and Oral Roberts University, his 24th appearance. All but one of them starts. He has not pitched well lately. He is 0-2 in his last 5 starts.
And he has issues with the long ball. One of 3 National League pitchers to allow at least 20 bombs this season. Dan Herron paces away with 21. Kyle Loesch and Hefner with 20.
Adam Eaton 222. And this August has looked like the player everyone thought he'd be in spring training. High chopper to second base. Daniel Murphy is there from the edge of the outfield grass, and Adam Eaton beats it out. Leadoff man aboard for the Diamondbacks.
Murphy moving to his right. Looked like he was in pretty good position right there. Just couldn't find the handle on the baseball, and that's all Adam Eaton needs to leg out an infield base hit.
They score it as such, and that brings up Martin Prado. Keep your eye on Adam Eaton, still looking for that first stolen base here in 2013. Prado now 274 in 10 home runs. And the big home run here on Wednesday night in the 3rd inning. Wanted for being a hitman. It's Western night, by the way, here at Chase Field. BB, did you bring a bandana, some boots, anything?
No.
You didn't participate in 70s night, I noticed, either.
No. 1870s, but no.
Yeah. A lot of folks around here dressed up like cowboys. Most of them look like Woody from Toy Story. That's a cowboy of a different sort, perhaps.
Yeah.
1-1. This was Martin Prado Wednesday against the Rays, part of a 4-for-4 night.
They've just been driving the ball with authority. Left center field, over the wall in left. He's in a great spot in the lineup. We talk about this all the time. When Adam Eaton or A.J. Pollock or Gerardo Parra, whoever happens to be in that leadoff spot, is getting on base, and you've got Prado and a potential National League MVP hitting behind him. He's in that nice cradle in that lineup.
Hefner missed there. It's 2-2. Jeremy Hefner, very good earlier this year when he faced the Diamondbacks at Citi Field. That was last month. 7 innings of 4-hit ball with 6 strikeouts. That was, in fact, July the 2nd. But the problem for Hefner is he's only won 1 game since. 0-2 in his last 5. Eaton holding first. High chopper to Flores at third. They get the force at second. And they roll the double play. So a double play behind Hefner. Quickly 2 down. Cowboy night here at Chase Field. Take some pictures down there.
We've got people on our crew that can't even sit on a stationary artificial bull.
What am I missing there? Here's Goldie.
I just saw some guys earlier this year that were trying to actually ride a mechanical bull that was moving.
I heard about that.
I don't even think they could sit on that one.
Mention how good defensively Juan Lagares has been in center field for the Mets. You can see him there, Bob, shaded over toward the pool in right center for Goldie.
And very, very deep, which is understandable for Paul Goldschmidt.
Just able to hold up there.
We've seen Goldie do that more over the last 3 or 4 games. He went through a stage about a month and a half ago where he was checking his swing quite often, which is something you rarely see him do.
Well, Paul Goldschmidt at .299 for the season. Goldie's batting average under 300 for the first time since May the 5th. He's off another one there. And it's full 3-2. Paul Goldschmidt grinds out at bats. 58 times this season he's been up with a full count of 3-2. That's behind only Justin Upton, Jay Bruce, and Dan Uggla in the National League. The 3 ahead of Goldie are all batting .250 or below in 3-2 counts. Goldie strikes out there. And that's the inning. A double play ball and a strikeout. We're through 1. No score. No score after one. Patrick Corbin and Jeremy Hefner. Corbin 2 strikeouts in the top of the first. He'll face Bird, Satin, Turner 4, 5, and 6 in the Mets second. Marlon Bird having a nice year here. 276 and 17 home runs.
Watch the first pitch.
Right on cue. Adam Eaton chases it into the corner, and it's high off the terrace. That's a fair ball. It's in play. Marlon Bird takes the turn, and he may have a shot at the inside the park home run. Here's the relay, the play at the plate, and he is out of there.
Smoked that ball off the terrace out there just to the right of center field. A perfect relay. One hop throw. Very close at the plate. Looked like Nieves got a knee pad down to block the dish on Marlon Bird. Boy, a horrible send early in the game by Tim Tuffle down there at third base. Bird trying to sneak around the back door. Will Nieves would have none of it. Blocked that dish, didn't allow him in.
Boy, he drilled that ball to high and deep right center field, just off the terrace out there next to the pool. And it's a triple and an out. 7-4-2 if you're scoring on the relay. And how about the job Martin Prado did to hustle over there and get that relay started?
Just an odd bounce off of that terrace wall out there. Cody Ross was coming over from right field. That ball was a little more toward the right center field gap, so he was on the move. Martin Prado got a little bit of a late start, but fortunately got there in time to get it to Aaron Hill and on to Will Nieves for the out.
Josh Sadden goes down and gets that one, and Cody Ross tracks it down near the line and right. 2 outs.
I mean, not only did it bounce back toward left field, it shot back toward left field. There's Prado, bare hands it. Can you tell he plays a little bit of infield right there? Perfect relay on a hop to the catcher. Can't do it any better than that.
And how about the block by Nieves, as you mentioned earlier? Marlon Bird's got nowhere to go here. Whew. Justin Turner.
Unfortunately for Will Nieves, Marlon Bird chose to come in head first, tried to sneak a hand on the plate. Marlon Bird is a big, solidly built man.
Eric Chavez at third. 6 gold gloves, so some Diamondback defense dazzles in the second. We'll go to the home half. No score at Chase Field. altitude. So 2 sparkling defensive plays to begin and end that second inning for the Diamondbacks. And here is the man who made the second portion of that. Eric Chavez will lead off the second. Chavez, Hill, Ross, 4, 5, and 6 against Jeremy Hefner. There's the strike, 0-1.
Cody Ross made a nice running catch. Had to go about 100 feet to catch out number 2. That doesn't even get a star in that last inning. Still has a little bit of the dirt from home plate on his left forearm there.
Chavez at 305 and 9 homers. Fox Sports 1 game break coming up. Get you caught up on other action around the major leagues. We're watching the Dodgers tonight. They're not quite underway, hosting the Rays and David Price. And the Reds are home. They are hosting San Diego. Have an update on that coming up shortly here. Eric Chavez lines that one to center field. Lagares tracks it down. And that's the first out. Nice play out there. Let's now go to Los Angeles for a Fox Sports 1 game break.
Second baseman, number 2, Aaron Hill.
Thanks very much. Got to get used to keeping an eye on both the National League West and the Central, because the Central are where the 2 wild card teams reside for the moment, and the Cardinals and the Reds both behind Pittsburgh. Here's Aaron Hill. Right field and out of play.
Save that piece of video right there. You rarely see Aaron Hill hit a ball to the right side of second base. Just kind of fought that one off. Goes foul down the right field line.
He did not go, says crew chief Mike Winters at first. Aaron at 285 and 5 homers. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 10 games, 6 of those multi-hit games. That one's hard to left, base hit. Second hit tonight for the Diamondbacks.
That's more the swing we're used to seeing from Aaron Hill. Occasionally will even take pitches on the outside corner of the plate, get that barrel out in front of home plate and drive it through the left side of the infield. You know, that Marlon Byrd triple and his attempt at an inside the park home run, it would have been number 9 here at Chase Field. The last opponent to hit an inside the parker right here was Derek Lee, playing for the Chicago Cubs. That was back in '07.
Cody Ross. Looks like Marlon has caught his breath. Got a second wind out there.
Yeah, now it's time to hit one in the gap. Make him run some more.
There is that gap you see in right center field. A reminder, Diamondbacks fans, every time a D-backs player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes will donate $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. And Cody has been on something of a home run tear as of late. Drives it to right. There is Marlon Byrd. Right at him. Doesn't have to run too far for that one. And it's the second out.
Some good solid contact in this inning. Chavez with a sinking line drive to center. Aaron Hill's base hit through the left side. And then Cody Ross with a line drive to right field for an out. He's not fooling anybody right now.
Will Nieves. 357 on the year. Aaron Hill aboard at first with 2 down. There's the strike, 0-1. Hefner misses. It's even 1-1. Last 10 games, Will Nieves has been on a roll. Having really what's turning in here, Bob, to be a career season at the age of 35.
It was amazing enough earlier in the year when he was getting to play about once every 2 weeks and was still getting his hits, but now basically the everyday catcher and still getting his knocks.
Wilmer Flores, high hopper to third. The rookie fields that cleanly, and they strand the one-out single by Aaron Hill. We're through 2, no score. Time for the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Lowest home ERA in the majors this year. Only Jose Fernandez is better in Miami than Patrick Corbin here in Arizona. They'll face Wilmer Flores to lead off the third. Flores, Buck, and Hefner 7, 8, and 9. And Wilmer Flores this week made his major league debut on his birthday. Turned 22 years old Tuesday. He went 0 for 4. But Flores had 2 hits the next day, doubled, 3 RBIs in his second big league game, and he's at 182 on the year. He's been one of the top prospects in the Mets system for several seasons now. Roller to second base, Aaron Hill behind the bag. One away. Brings up John Buck, the catcher, who is on standby here. John's wife is about to give birth. In fact, she is about a week overdue. They were hoping the baby would arrive on the last homestand, but it's a little late. And so John is on the road with the Mets, waiting for the call.
Yeah, those newborns don't pay a lot of attention to the schedule.
Punctuality. They have a prospect they like very much. Travis d'Arnaud, the catching prospect they got from the Blue Jays. He has recently been moved up from AA to AAA, so he could play in Las Vegas and be nearby if John Buck has to suddenly run off and go back home. And then once that happens, there's the paternity leave thing, which is a great job that baseball does, where a player can take a few days and take care of everything that's needed to be taken care of.
A rare straight changeup there from Patrick Corbin. He'll break that out every now and then on a big, strong right-handed pull hitter like John Buck. Try to get him out in front, hopefully roll over, get a grounder to that left side.
Instead, it's a one-out walk, and Buck is aboard. Brings up the pitcher, Jeremy Hefner, who played high school baseball in Oklahoma. He was a Perkins Tryon High Demon, and he says he was a pretty good hitter in his day. But now not so much. Hefner comes into this at bat 0 for 32, which makes him the worst hitting pitcher on the team with the lowest pitcher's batting average in the National League. Corners crash. So, if you do the math, he is the worst of the worst.
21 strikeouts in those 32 at-bats. He does have 4 sack bunts on the season, which he is attempting to do here in this at-bat.
Now, in Jeremy's defense, he did hit a home run against the Phillies last year that helped him win his first big league game. That was last May. But since that homer, Hefner is 1 for 50. He was asked about that. He said, well, I faced a lot of really good pitching.
Good answer.
Pops up the bunt attempt. Nieves can't quite get there. So he's up there trying to improve on what is now a 1 for 50 slump. That's the hang with him. Tim Tuffle at third.
They're looking down there just to see if the bunt will continue to be on here in the 0-2 count, and with the numbers that you mentioned, I would assume he will bunt again.
What have they got to lose? They're going to give him first base. Much to the dismay of the Diamondback dugout. Kirk Gibson and Alan Trammell. Hit batter.
It's a good pitch if a batter's swinging away, but in a bunt situation, kind of half squared around that time, just couldn't get out of the way. That ball catches him on the inside of the right leg. The Diamondbacks bench was arguing that he offered at that ball, and if you offer at it and it hits you, it's still a strike.
Well, it's a pair of one-out base runners now. John Buck at second, Jeremy Hefner at first. Top of the order, Eric Young Jr. Struck out his first time. EY Jr. hitting just .214 since the All-Star break. Driven to right, Cody Ross drifting toward the line, and he tracks it down. Hustles it back into the infield, and that's the second out. 2 nice running grabs over there by Cody so far.
Yeah, real good jump. That ball looked like it could possibly get down and rattle around in that corner for a while, but Cody with a great jump took a direct line right to where the ball was going to come down. Both Mets base runners were kind of out in no man's land. Certainly you can excuse Hefner, but John Buck was only a couple steps off the bag at second. Couldn't get back in time to tag.
Brings up Juan Lagares, the center fielder. He grounded out his first time. 1-0. Mets offense had sputtered in July, so Terry Collins moved Juan Lagares up to second in the batting order. That's worked out pretty well. Marlon Byrd in the hole. Here's the 1-0. Collins really likes Daniel Murphy hitting fifth, and that's with David Wright. They've had to shift some things around with the Wright on the disabled list, but they sort of had to mix and match here. Collins said, look, I just needed somebody to hit second, so I moved Lagares there. It's been going pretty well. Popped him up first base side. Goldschmidt in foul ground. Patrick Corbin strands a pair of base runners. Home half of the third on the way. No score at Chase Field.
Our performance kind of dictates the lineup. I mean, yeah, the last 2 games we've performed with this lineup, so I think it's easy for him to sit there and throw the same lineup out there. And as we've been talking before, with the inconsistency of it, and it's nice to see a couple of back-to-back days to 3 days with the same lineup, so they get a little more comfortable in there.
Our Geico quote of the game, compliments of Adam Eaton. Yeah, 3 straight games Kirk Gibson has run out the same lineup. That is really not his MO. He talked about it the other day, and he said it's not that big of a deal. A lot of the writers were asking about that. He says, you know, there are a lot of different factors that go into it, but certainly production is a big part of that. He says, I've got no Ouija board. But and I think he would admit to being superstitious, but this lineup has worked, and you know we've seen him leave his normal perch there, and he's down there at the far end of the dugout. It's brought this team some pretty good fortune over the last little while, and I think he's going to ride this as long as he can. It's been really, really nice the last couple of games. Obviously, 20 hits and 15 runs. He's going to keep riding it.
That's right, Brad. If he does have a Ouija board, it might be hidden in an equipment bag down that end of the dugout, because that's where he goes to look for offense. Didi Gregorius leads off the 3rd against Jeremy Hefner. Didi quickly down 0-2. Trying to find that swing right now. He's 2 for his last 25. Hard to first. Josh Satin is there.
Another ball hit right on the button. We saw Hefner at Citi Field earlier this season. He's a 4-pitch guy. Relies heavily on fastball and slider, both the 4-seam fastball, the 2-seam fastball. But you'll see mostly fastballs and sliders. He'll mix in some changeups and curveballs as he sees fit. Catcher John Buck out there to give him a little bit of a blow after breaking late to get over there and cover first base, forcing Josh Satin to make the play himself.
Out of Oral Roberts, originally a 5th-round pick by the Padres in the 07 draft. Was waived by San Diego after the 2011 season. Finally, the Mets got him after he'd been picked up and let go by the Pirates. 6'4", 215, 27 years old. 1-1 to Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, Patrick's description on the big board: wanted for a knee-breaking slider. Jeremy Hefner will attest to that, because that slider nearly hit him in the back knee.
Patrick 6'4", 48 on the year. Does have 3 RBIs. Roll to second. Daniel Murphy from the outfield grass throws it out, 2 down. Quickly 2 down. First 2 set down by Hefner brings up Adam Eaton. Beat out an infield single his first time up. Adam kind of coming around and looking more like what everyone thought he'd be in the spring when the path was cleared for the center field job. 4 games this month going into today. He's got 4 hits and he scored 3 runs.
And I think the kind of contact that he's making at the plate is the biggest indicator that he's starting to get very close. Early on, a lot of ground balls, a lot of lazy fly balls. He's starting to hit more line drives and more hard grounders, which is what you want to see from Adam Eaton.
Average keeps going up. Like to see more of that too.
Well, I talk about it all the time. Even if you don't put the bunt down for an attempted base hit, just show bunt. Yeah, force those corner infielders to respect the fact that you might put it down for a base hit. That really cuts down on their range when they have to come in and play even with the baseline.
Hefner misses there. It's 3-1. Martin Prado on deck. Ball 4, Adam Eaton. And he's been up twice, he's been on base twice. First walk issued by Jeremy Hefner. And the Diamondbacks have a 2-out base runner for the red-hot Martin Prado. The familiar techno pop blasting. And Martin comes up.
I think the record was stuck.
That's what it sounds like on the plains. Martin grounded into a double play his first time. Martin Prado hitting almost .390 since the All-Star break. Drives that one to right, but right at Marlon Byrd. Hefner strands the 2-out walk. We're through 3, no score. Sporting their Sedona red. As we start the 4th inning here, Mets and Diamondbacks no score. Patrick Corbin and Jeremy Hefner. It'll be Murphy, Bird, and Satin 3, 4, and 5 here in the Met 4. Daniel Murphy struck out his first time. First pitch, roll to first. There's Goldie. Here comes Marlon Byrd. This was Bird's first at bat.
Struck the ball well to center. Going hard out of the batter's box, really turns it on between first and second, but in the meantime, the D-backs defense scrambling around out there. Prado to Hill to Nieves. Thanks for stopping by.
Oof. That's a lot of running. Marlon Byrd, 35 years old. He's got a birthday coming up later this month. In fact, he'll turn 36. Diamondbacks second in the majors in outfield assists, behind only the Twins. Twins with a lot of good young outfielders in their system. And it's been a year for developing that in Minnesota. So Byrd gets credit for the triple. He's 1 for 1. And hitting over 300 since July the 1st. It's been a nice run here for Marlon Byrd. No pun intended. 44 pitches so far for Patrick Corbin, 27 for strikes. Popped him up, way up in the air. Aaron Hill on the edge of the outfield grass, and that's the second outs. Hey fans, FoxSportsArizona.com, all your online local sports coverage you can't find anywhere else. You'll have post-game analysis and reaction from Chase Field tonight from Tyler Lockman. Cardinals-Packers analysis, Craig Morgan on that, and reports from ASU and Arizona training camp. All that and more right now at FoxSportsArizona.com. Josh Satin. Flied out his first time up, so he is now 2 for his last 18. Couldn't catch up to that one, 0-1.
Yeah, Satin had a nice series against the D-backs at Citi Field earlier this season. We hadn't seen much of Josh Satin, but showed a nice compact swing, sprayed the ball all over the ballpark. Filling in down there at first base for Chaparral High product Ike Davis, not in the lineup tonight against the left-hander Patrick Corbin.
And it works out for the Mets because Satin's a guy with huge platoon splits. He's barely hitting 220 against righties, but he's locked in against left-handers, hitting lefties at 390, so that worked out.
It looks like Josh Satin has borrowed Adam LaRoche's eyebrows.
He wants them back. What do you got on those eyebrows?
Oh, come on, take a peek up here, Josh.
It's like Brezhnev. Patrick behind here, 3-1. There's a shot of those eyebrows.
It looks like eye black above his eyes.
I was going to say Groucho Marx. Second walk for Patrick Corbin. Mets have a 2-out base runner for Justin Turner.
Shortstop, Justin.
2 walks in the ball game already through 3 2/3 for Patrick Corbin. That's off the charts for him.
Yeah, a lot more balls than we usually see for Patrick. He's right at 50 pitches right now. 29 strikes and 21 balls. It's not usually that even. Justin Turner grounded to third his first time.
Couple of Mets fans down below the booth here trying to get the Let's Go Mets chant started, and promptly got booed down by the D-backs fans.
Haven't they been through enough? That one gets through to Nieves, and Satin moves up 90 feet.
Sure if that slider actually got to the dirt or not. Will Nieves reaches across near the feet of Turner. That one did hit in the dirt. Should be ruled a wild pitch as it gets all the way through to the backstop.
So the Mets have a man in scoring position. There is Josh Satin. And a 1-1 count on Justin Turner. You know what you're getting with Justin Turner. The last 3 seasons he's played on and off. Plays some second, plays some third, plays some short like he's doing tonight, and he'll hit between 260 and 270. Drives it to center. Adam Eaton has a drop in front. They wave Josh Satin. Goldschmidt cuts it off. The Mets take a 1-0 lead. RBI single for Justin Turner. So the 2-out walk comes back to bite Patrick Corbin.
Not only the 2-out walk, but the wild pitch to allow Satin to move into scoring position for Justin Turner. Picks on a fastball up and out over the plate, lines it into center field with 2 outs. Satin gets a big jump out there at second base. No chance for Adam Eaton to throw him out at the plate.
A run in. Here's the rookie Wilmer Flores.
Where that wild pitch that allowed Satin to move into scoring position was the 60th, 6-0 of the season, most in the majors for the Diamondbacks pitching staff. Now, anytime you talk about wild pitches, obviously some of the blame has to go to the pitcher, but a large chunk of the blame also has to go to the guys behind the plate. Especially when you know that breaking ball is coming, it's got a good chance to find its way into the dirt. You got to get your body over there in a position to at least keep that ball in front.
Tuffy goes to wish, the backup catcher. 1-1 to Flores. He's taking some home run cuts here. GMs from other teams have loved this kid, thinking that if the Mets can't figure out where to play Flores defensively, they'd love to take him off the Mets' hands. This is a guy who, evaluators say, can just flat out hit. It's been the defense that's been an issue. But because of Flores' attitude and his makeup, he's one of those guys they think will be even better in the big leagues than he was in the minors. Just turned 22 this week.
Yeah, just a couple of days ago, a career .284 hitter at the minor league level coming into this season. Hasn't really shown a lot of power at the minor league level, but if he's a good hitter and makes solid contact, the power will come.
Corbin gets the strikeout, and he strands Turner at first, but the Mets get a run in to take a 1-0 lead. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. The heart of the order, Goldie, Chavez, Hill, when we come back. Get your Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead. It's courtesy of Audi. Everyone wants this one. This is a must-have. The game starts at 5:10, and I'm telling you right now, going to be lines around the block. Big crowd expected, so avoid those lines. Don't wait, and guarantee your bobblehead for tomorrow. All you have to do is buy the Goldie bobblehead 4-pack. You will get a ticket to tomorrow's game. Guarantee your Goldie bobblehead. Plus, you'll get tickets to 3 other games, and you can choose the games. It's the Goldie 4-pack. So log on to dbacks.com/4-pack or call 602-462-4600. Here is Paul Goldschmidt with the Diamondbacks now down 1-0 to open the 4th. Goldschmidt, Chavez, Hill against Jeremy Hefner. There has been a developing Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead story.
I love it. I love it.
It's been brewing. It's just crossed the desk here. As you know, BB, we have carried our Goldie, well, I have carried our Goldie bobblehead.
I've watched you.
Yes,
carry
you
it.
have. You've been supporting the idea around the country, and they've been up here in the booth with us for a while in anticipation of Goldie bobblehead day. So these are the actual Goldie bobbleheads that are in the booth. See, we've had to tape the bat right there, and you've got the gold version, which is in perfect health. But the regular version right here, this guy, you know, I sort of carried it around in my backpack for a while. It took a beating, frankly, as Goldie takes the walk to lead off the fourth. We're going to auction these actual 2 bobbleheads off tomorrow. So the way this is going to work is tomorrow at the community clubhouse here at Chase Field, section 134, we will have a silent auction for these actual 2 bobbleheads. Now, I'm fair warning, the bat, if you screw it in, it'll stay in, but we've taped it just because it's easier. And all the proceeds are going to benefit Goldie's favorite charity. That's the Phoenix Children's Hospital. I'll get Bob Brenly to sign it. We'll get Goldie to sign it. I'll put my name on there, and you guys can bid on these actual bobbleheads, which have been up here at the booth with us for the last month or so, and all over the country, frankly.
And this is not meant to discourage the bidding, but we'll even throw in a booth visit. When you come to the ballpark to pick up your Goldie dolls, you can come up here to the booth and get a look at our vantage point and see where the Goldie dolls have been perched here in the booth over the last few months.
Here's Eric Chavez. Chavez drives that one to right. Marlon Byrd is in front of the pool. Goldie back to the bag, 1 away. And by the way, the Diamondbacks charity will match the winning bid. So this is all for a great cause. It's Goldie's favorite charity, the Phoenix Children's Hospital. We will auction these 2 baubles, these actual baubles, off tomorrow at the community clubhouse, section 134. So we'll get those signed for you and come down and get them tomorrow. But you got to be here. You can't call in. There's no online stuff. You actually have to be here at Chase Field tomorrow. So we can make sure it's all on the up and up, and you'll get your bobbleheads and get the signatures and the whole thing.
All good.
Here's Aaron Hill. Singled his first time. I'd like to thank Debbie Castaldo here with the D-backs for helping us get that done, as well as other unnamed members of the staff who are providing constant updates on other things, like what's going on in Reno right now. How are the Aces doing?
Well, the Aces playing a doubleheader today. They got a rain out last night. Tyler Skaggs actually threw 1 inning before the rains came and got washed out. Charles Brewer came in and finished up with 8 innings of, I believe, 2 hit ball after that. Did a real nice job, and they're now in game 2 of the doubleheader, leading the Memphis Chicks 4-2.
And I'm very happy to say Michael Brenly's 2-run double.
Yeah, finally broke the seal. Got his first hit, first RBI.
Nice going, Dad. Speaking of scores, good news. The Rays lead 3-0 at Los Angeles, and they have David Price on the mound.
That is good news.
Aaron Hill drives that one to left. Eric Young Jr. at the wall. He tracks it down for 2 outs. Goldie was all the way at second base, and he'll hustle back in time.
A couple of near misses here by Chavez and Hill. Just didn't quite get all of it.
Here's Cody flying out his first time. Hefner trying to strand that leadoff walk to Goldschmidt. Cody Ross sitting over 350 since the All-Star break with 3 homers. Here goes Goldschmidt off with a pitch. Here's the throw from John Buck, and it's not in time. Paul Goldschmidt gets his 12th stolen base. Boy, that is a jump and a half right there.
Yeah, for a big guy, he has fast feet. We talk about his quickness defensively over there at first base, which helps him range a lot further than most first basemen are able to, and quick feet stealing that bag at second.
2-0. Cody Ross lifts that one in the air to left field. Eric Young Jr. is under it, and that's the inning. So Hefner strands the leadoff walk. We're through 4. Diamondbacks trail the Mets 1-0. Part by Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Jack in the Box. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax. Western Museum, a Western theme here at Chase Field on a Friday night against the Mets. Steve Bertie, Bob Brenly back with you on Western night at the ballpark. The national anthem was sung by a group of an a cappella group with a rather clever name, the OK Corral.
Very nice.
Spelled with an H.
Yeah.
Pretty clever.
Did a nice job in full costume, cowboy hats.
They cowboyed up.
Yes, they did. Boots and vests.
That's cowboyed up.
Every day's cowboy day for him.
How long do you think it took him to grow that? Oh, this is the OK Corral.
They are. Did they make Madras pants back in the day? Everything's very authentic, other than those pants. I'm not quite sure.
He's a cowboy golfer from the 70s. Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys had phones. The view from the RamTrucks.com pool here at Chase Field. You really get a good feeling out there of what it's like to play outfield at a major league game. You're essentially the same height as the fielder, and you see the same things out there. This is there, 3-2. Hefner, the pitcher, is on deck. Third walk issued by Patrick Corbin, leadoff man on for the Mets here in the fifth. He's walked John Buck twice now. Out there at the RamTrucks.com pool. Great place to watch a game here at Chase Field. Mets and Diamondbacks all weekend long. And the Baltimore Orioles are in for 3. Former manager Buck Showalter.
I guess in keeping with the theme tonight, that's the RamTrucks.com watering hole out there.
I see what you did there. Pops up the bunt. You mentioned the poor Mets and their pitchers. These guys struggle offensively. Although they do have 9 RBIs as a pitching staff. This is how the Mets pitchers hit. And poor Jeremy Hefner, who is 0 for 32, is the worst of the lot. Wants it right to Goldie, and he can't get it in time to get a play at second, and he just does recover to get Hefner at first. Looks like he might have been thinking about trying to pick that one up, spin, and try and get Buck at second.
Which is the right way to think on that play. You've got John Buck, the slow-footed catcher, trying to advance from first to second base. Goldie pounced on that ball. You can see him charging from first. Yeah, I think his intention was to scoop and throw on to second base, but has the wherewithal to stay with it just in time to get the out at first. That'll go down as a sacrifice bunt for Hefner.
And John Buck moves into scoring position with 1 out for Eric Young Jr. EY Jr. 0 for 2. Corbin jumps ahead 0-1. EY Jr. a switch hitter. He's at 253 on the year. He's about 50 points better from the right-hand side. Junior acquired June 18th from the Rockies for Colin McHugh, a 26-year-old pitcher who has made 1 start for Colorado this year. I think he broke his bat. Didi Gregorius will have to hurry, and they get him. That's the second out.
To quote Green Day, you got to know your enemy. Didi Gregorius knew he didn't have much time to mess around with that ground ball, so he scoops and throws all in one motion just in time to get Eric Young Jr. at first base.
EY Jr. 0 for 3. And here is Juan Lagares, the center fielder. Mentioned they like him here in the 2-hole. It's a new development in this lineup. Let's say that Lagares has good hand-eye coordination. He's able to fight off pitches he can't handle. Terry Collins said it's not always the prettiest swing, but sometimes it gets results. Fights that one off down the right field line, and it is tracked down. Cody Ross is there for the final out. Ramtrucks.com pool cooling off as we head to the 5th. It's 1-0 Mets. Special recognition to all of our service members at home and abroad. We thank you for your service from all of us here at the Diamondbacks as well, and USAA. Set for the home half of the 5th, Will Nieves, Didi Gregorius, and Patrick Corbin against Jeremy Hefner. Diamondbacks trail the Mets 1-0. It's a crowded night at the pool out there, Ramtrucks.com pool. There's your truck.
Yes, it is. Isn't that a beautiful thing? That's going to break my heart if some left-handed hitter pulls one out that direction, puts a dent in the side of that truck. Unless it's a D-back, then it's okay. We'll have him autograph it.
Bounce to second, Daniel Murphy. Nieves 0 for 2. Here's Didi. Time for our AT&T Twitter poll question. We thought hard about this one tonight. Best part of the weekend, you've got the fact that Patrick Corbin opens the series for the Diamondbacks here tonight. You've got the winning streak. The offense has been on a nice roll lately. No Matt Harvey. We don't have to face the Mets ace, even though we handled him last time. Or the biggie tomorrow, the Goldie bobblehead. Tweet your vote to @BoxSportsAZ. Bob Brenly, your thoughts?
I'm all about the win streak.
Nice. We'll take them.
I think if you ask the Diamondbacks hitters, they'll vote for no Matt Harvey.
The two may go hand in hand. We'll see. Patrick starting the game tonight. He's only given up 2 hits through 5. In terms of the races, we've already showed you the Reds beat the Padres 7-2. Diamondbacks right behind Cincinnati for that second National League wild card spot. Dodgers trailing the Rays in LA 3-0. David Price on the mound for Tampa Bay. See what the Tigers did? They went into Cleveland and just mauled the Tribe. That AL Central changed in a week. Suddenly Kansas City's back in discussion. Didi drives that one down the left field line, but it's on a play.
One other matchup tonight that looks like a Halloween party broke out. Baltimore at San Francisco. Orioles lead at 2-0 in the bottom of the second. A lot of black and orange in that series.
The Giants are wearing their orange jerseys. The Orioles are wearing their black jerseys, and it looks like an inter-squad game. 3-2. Right back to Hefner. He snags it for the second out.
You know, one thing we noticed when we were in New York or earlier this season, the mask that John Buck wears behind home plate, not uncommon. It's the goalie style mask, but you can see that paint job on there. He's got all kinds of New York related things on the mask. The Brooklyn Bridge, the 7 train, some graffiti, which certainly you expect in New York. Statue of Liberty, the Manhattan skyline, and he's the only catcher in the major league that's allowed to wear a painted mask. He kind of got grandfathered in. One of the Catcher's Gear Company became the official Catcher's Gear Company of Major League Baseball, but since John Buck had been wearing these masks, and at the end of the season he auctions it off and gives money to various charities, so Major League Baseball has allowed John Buck and only John Buck to wear a painted catcher's mask.
It does look like a hockey goalie with that paint job on there.
Yeah.
Those guys always have elaborate things. I like the angry baseball right there.
Actually, there were 2 catchers. Greg Zahn, before he retired, was another guy who had been wearing painted goalie-type masks. And Zahn and Buck were the only 2 guys to continue that, and now Buck is alone.
Patrick Corbin drives that one to the gap in right center. Lagares won't get there. It hits the wall. And Patrick Corbin stops at second with his 4th double this season. He gave it a ride to the deepest part of the ballpark.
4th double of the year for Patrick. We talked earlier in the ball game the lack of run support when he's been on the mound this year. This is one way to remedy it. Be your own offensive support. Boy, he hit that ball well out there, 400 feet plus away from home plate, bangs it off the bottom of the wall for an easy 2-out double.
Saw some bat speed there. Pitcher bat speed. Patrick's got his 7th hit this season. And the Diamondbacks down 1-0. Have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for the top of the order. This is Adam Eaton. He's been on base twice, a single and a walk.
Well, 98.1 miles per hour. Ball off the bat of Patrick Corbin.
I would think you get close to triple digits. That's pretty good for a pitcher.
You saw the average 68.1. That's a lot of jam shots and bloopers and easy ground balls.
Adam Eaton drives that to right. It gets down. Marlon Byrd can't handle it. Corbin scores and Eaton is on the run. He'll stop at second. Adam Eaton, his 2nd double this season, and the Diamondbacks have tied the ball game.
You never know where the rallies are going to start. With 2 outs in the inning, nobody on base. Patrick Corbin doubles off the wall in center, and then Adam Eaton, the leadoff man, shoots one past Marlon Byrd for an RBI double.
A pair of 2-out doubles have tied it up, and Bob, you had mentioned this earlier. You want to see Adam Eaton hit those types of balls.
Yeah, drive it on a line or hit it hard on the ground, force the defense to make plays. I mean, his infield single to start this ball game for the D-backs was just a hard ground ball up the middle of the field. Murphy had trouble handling it, and Adam was able to leg that one out for an infield hit. This one struck well down into the right field corner.
Martin Prado 0 for 2. We just saw Martin Prado on Wednesday night go 4 for 4 with a walk. He was on base all 5 times he was up, and so far tonight it's Adam Eaton who's been up 3 times, and he's been on base 3 times. A single, a walk, and an RBI double. 0-1 to Prado. He drives that one deep to the gap in left center, and that ball gets to the wall. Eaton will score easily, and Martin Prado stops at second. 3 consecutive Diamondback doubles have made it a 2-1 ball game.
Boy, he is just absolutely locked in at the plate. His balance is so good. He sees the ball so well. Everything just perfect. If you were going to draw a picture and show it to a little leaguer, this is what your swing should look like. Martin Prado is locked into that swing right now.
His 25th double, his 49th RBI on the year. And now the Diamondbacks, who have 31 come from behind wins, second most in the National League, have come from behind to take a 2-1 lead, and they have a runner in scoring position for the National League's RBI leader. Goldie has struck out and walked. He's 0 for 1. Boy, Bob, Jeremy Hefner was just cruising along. 2 singles, 2 walks, all scattered. He got the first 2 outs relatively quickly here in the 5th, and then boom, 3 straight doubles.
And these are the kind that are tough. As a manager, he was just, as you said, he was dealing, just cruising along, and all of a sudden, bingo, bango, bongo, Diamondbacks are ripping the ball all over the ballpark. You don't really have time to get anybody up in the bullpen. Some guys are starting to stir around down in that right field corner, but nobody throwing just yet. This is how quickly it can turn.
1-1.
Boy, how about Martin Prado? His last 16 at bats with runners in scoring position, he has 8 hits and 11 runs driven in. That's getting it done.
Adam Eaton on base 3 times tonight. He's got an RBI. He scored a run. 1-2 to Goldie. Paul Goldschmidt has hit in 5 of his last 7 games, including 3 home runs. Pays off that one. It's another 3-2 count to Paul Goldschmidt. And he is among the major league leaders in working the count full, and when he is up there in a 3-2 count, he's hitting better than .360 this year. Nieves grounded out. Didi Gregorius hit a comebacker to the mound. Then doubles by Corbin, Eaton, and Prado have made it 2-1 Diamondbacks. Lays off that. Ball 4. 2 on and 2 out. 3rd walk for Jeremy Hefner.
Goldie moving up the leaderboard. Walks over the last couple of seasons. That last base on ball is 125 since the beginning of the 2012 season. Only Joey Votto, Dan Uggla, Chase Headley, and David Wright have more walks over that period of time.
Conference time at the Met mound. Dan Worthen, the pitching coach. Activity in the bullpen. 78 pitches now for Hefner, 43 for strikes. He'll work to Eric Chavez with 2 on and 2 out.
Now at third baseman,
Eric is 0 for 2 so far tonight. He's flat out twice. Number 4 hitter in the lineup is supposed to drive in runs in 24 starts in the cleanup spot this year. Eric Chavez has 22 RBIs. He is hitting better than .330 as the cleanup hitter for the Diamondbacks this year. That includes 5 home runs.
That cutter chases Chavez right out of that batter's box. Able to catch his balance as he tumbled out there across home plate.
Prado at second, Goldie at first. If you've watched film, Bob, here in this position, if you're Hefner, and you've watched Eric Chavez take everything away to that gap in left center field, are you afraid to leave anything out there?
Well, I would think so. I mean, for me, that's where his strength is. He can pull a ball out of here to right field, no doubt about it, especially when it's down around the knees on the inner third of the plate. Try to go back in there. Well, fastball's belt high and above. Like a lot of lefties, Eric has some trouble with that pitch, but if you make a mistake and leave it down on that inside part of the plate, he can golf that one out of here to right field.
Three and one. It has come unglued here in the fifth for Hefner. 2 quick outs and 3 doubles and a walk. Aaron Hill is on deck. Prado at second, Goldschmidt at first. Chavez drives it to right. Marlon Byrd gets all kinds of twisted up out there, but he recovers in time to record the out. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 2 across to take the 2-1 lead. Doubles by Corbin. Eaton and Prado have made it 2-1 Diamondbacks through 5.
The 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Western night here at Chase Field. A view from behind the Ramtrucks.com pool. Diamondbacks with 2 in the home half of the fifth. Now lead at 2-1. There's a strike to Daniel Murphy to lead off the Mets sixth. Murphy, Bird, and Satin 3, 4, and 5 here against Corbin, who so far has given up only 1 run on 2 hits. And that inning where they had multiple base runners and multiple runs, something Patrick hasn't seen for a while. He's given up a total of just 4 earned runs in his last 2 starts, but both were losses. A 1-0 defeat here at Chase Field. That was at the end of July against the Padres. Then a loss in Boston on Saturday. In those 2 starts, he walked only 2 and struck out 14. That one is driven down the line in left. Martin Prado gives it a run, but it's out of play. Problem in the starts against the Padres and the Red Sox for Patrick. No run support. And so they were both tough luck losses. 1-2 to Daniel Murphy. Up the middle for a base hit. Third hit tonight for the Mets. Leadoff man on in the 6th. Hey fans, if you or someone you know would love to be calling the game and they're between the ages of 10 and 14, then come out Sunday here to Chase Field for the Fox Sports Arizona and Sanderson Ford Kidcaster auditions. That's from 11:30 to 1:30. They are held at the Sandlot here during the Diamondbacks and Mets game at Chase Field. We'll get you up here in the booth alongside Bob Brenly, calling some baseball. Marlon Byrd, 1 for 2, tripled in the 2nd and was thrown out trying to stretch it into an inside the park home run. That one kicks away from Will Nieves. Now it hit Marlon Byrd on the foot. So 2 on here with nobody out for the Mets.
Got him on the front foot that time. That's that slider that's designed to start over the inner part of the plate, look like a strike, get a swing and a miss, and have the ball end up near the back foot. But that one caught Marlon Byrd on his left shoe.
Well, Patrick Corbin tonight has walked 3. He's hit 2 batters and has a wild pitch. Charles Nagy on the phone. Glenn Sherlock answering. Daniel Murphy on second, Marlon Byrd on first, nobody out.
And this is a difference between a rally starting with nobody out at the beginning of an inning and the rally we saw the Diamondbacks put together with 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the 5th. Happened so quickly. Terry Collins didn't really have a chance to get anybody up. He wasn't sure if he wanted to get anybody up in relief of Hefner. But when it happens at the beginning of an inning, you can stall, you can get guys up in the bullpen, you can do what you have to do to hopefully short circuit this rally.
Will Harris throwing, Glenn Sherlock looking on. Josh Satin has fly out, walked and scored. Satin at 292 on the year, but he's hitting under 180 since the All-Star break. Diamondbacks have out hit the Mets 5-3. Murphy at second, Byrd at first. One 1. In the air, right field, Cody Ross backing up. Murphy at second base will tag and head for third.
That's a pretty good read by Daniel Murphy down there at second base. That ball wasn't hit particularly deep into right field, but he saw that Cody Ross got a little too far underneath the ball. Had to backpedal a couple of steps, and that's when Murphy goes back to the base. As soon as he sees Ross backpedaling, he makes up his mind he's going to tag in advance.
And now a discussion on the mound with Paul Goldschmidt and Patrick Corbin breaks up. So Murphy on third, Byrd on first, 1 out now, and the batter is Justin Turner. Turner had an RBI single his last time up. He's driven in the Mets' only run. Justin Turner getting the start at shortstop for the Mets, has been filling the infield utility role the last few years. They love Omar Quintanilla's defense at short, but he's a lefty hitting under 200 against left-hand pitchers, and so not starting tonight against Patrick Corbin. There's a strike, 1-1. Back with you tomorrow here from Chase Field. Goldie bobblehead day. Don't forget, 4:30 for the pregame show. Mark Wegner says ball 2.
That's a huge swing pitch in an at bat. Count goes from what should be 1-2, hitter on the extreme defensive, to 2-1. Greg Maddux always said, obviously, the very first pitch of a sequence, if you can jump ahead, strike one, that's a big one. And everybody said, oh, that's the biggest pitch of an at bat. Greg Maddux always said the biggest pitch is the 1-1 pitch. Makes all the difference in the world putting that batter in a 1-2 hole where he has to expand his strike zone, becomes more susceptible to bounced breaking balls or elevated fastballs. At 2-1, you can really zone a pitcher in.
This is there. It's full. Wilmer Flores, the rookie, is on deck. Daniel Murphy at third, Marlon Byrd at first. That's a base hit, and the Mets tie the ball game. Justin Turner has driven in both Met runs. It's 2-2.
Back in the fourth inning, it was a wild pitch that allowed Satin to move into scoring position for Turner's RBI base hit. In this inning, it was good base running by Daniel Murphy to go back and tag up on a routine fly ball to right, get himself to third base, and he'll trot home with the tying run.
Just the fourth Mets hit tonight. It's a 2-2 ball game. Still only one out. Byrd at second, Turner at first. Here's Wilmer Flores, who's 0 for 2. First pitch swinging down the line and right. That is drifting out of play. One and one. Wilmer Flores was batting better than .320 with 15 homers at AAA Las Vegas before his call up this week. He was leading the Pacific Coast League in RBIs. Good RBI chance right here. Drives that one to Cody Ross in right. Marlon Byrd stays put, and that's the second out.
Now Flores with some gaudy numbers down there in Vegas in the Pacific Coast League. Seen a lot of ball games at Cashman Field. You want to hit there, no doubt about it. 36 doubles for Flores, 86 runs driven in, slugging well over 500. Took full advantage of that hitter's ballpark.
They love his bat. They don't love his defense all that much, and the question is, where does he fit in long term defensively? That's a question they still don't have an answer for. John Buck has walked both times up. Home run swing. It's 0-1.
And he's hit his share of home runs over the last couple of seasons. John Buck trails only Brian McCann and Matt Wieters for home runs at the catcher's position. His RBIs rank him 6th among catchers, but his strikeouts among the most, or the most rather.
John Buck has always had good power, never been a big batting average guy by any stretch. His first 8 seasons in the big leagues, he hit about 240. But then last year in Miami, played over 100 games and barely hit a .190. And those struggles have continued into this year. Speaking of catchers, thankfully the Mets got rid of those black jerseys they used to wear from time to time. 2-1 to John Buck. Another home run swing. John Buck, in fact, began his Mets career this April by hitting 9 home runs in the season's first month, but then for May and June he hit only 190. And he's been trying to dig his way out ever since.
Oh, man. That looked like a pretty good pitch. I think Will Nieves just kind of caught it bad. He just kind of pushed that ball toward the inside corner right there. That ball's right there. That's a strike.
Mark Wegner behind the plate. 3-2, 2 outs. Bird at second, Turner at first. Runners will be off with a pitch. There's the strike. Bring him up, sit him down. 4th strikeout for Patrick Corbin. He strands 2, but the Mets get the tying run across as we head to the home half of the 6th. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Wreck-It Ross. Cody got the hot bat going lately. He'll be coming up. Up to select the next D-backs legend to be honored in the Legends Entertainment District. That's coming up soon.
Number 6, Matt Williams.
Don't forget Throwback Night, August 31st against the Giants. The Diamondbacks will wear the old purple and teal, and they'll welcome back some former Diamondback greats. So there's going to be a lot going on here at the ballpark for Throwback Night. Check out the purple and teal and hang out after the game for the 2nd annual alumni game. And as we tend to do, we check in with Bob Brenly on the negotiations for your participation. Any news?
Nothing definitive. I will be involved. We're just not sure of the extent of my involvement, other than standing up there on the top step and clapping for some really good ball players.
And that's what's, behind closed doors with the representatives. That's what's being negotiated. How about the Goldie throwback jersey?
I like it.
Yeah.
I would have liked it even better.
I was going to say
back in the day.
Taking it back then. Aaron Hill leads off the 6th in what is now a 2-2 ball game. Hill, Ross, and Nieves 5, 6, and 7. Aaron Hill 1 for 2. He singled. Back in a second. Drives that one to left. Ewine Jr. will watch it drop in front, and Aaron Hill is aboard. He's 2 for 3.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
They want tacos. 4 runs away here. I hesitate to point out that it's now a 2-2 ball game. Pedro Feliciano warming up for the Mets. I only say that because the last time we were here, as we illustrated at the top of the show, we played 4 games against the Mets at Citi Field in July, and all of them lasted about 6 hours. So buckle up. 2 of the 4 games there against the Mets went into extra innings. We played 16.5 hours of baseball if you count extra innings and rain delays.
Oh, don't forget the rain delays.
Yeah. That's not going to be an issue here, but it is 2-2. Throw me your bat. Well,
be ready.
Yeah, you better be ready. Although Cody hasn't had one of those in a while, to his credit, come to think of it. The bat will occasionally go flying.
I think the lack of flying bats coincides with his hot streak. Could be something there. You know, when he was struggling, it seemed like at least once a game that bat would come loose and go whistling into the stands or out into the field of play, but haven't seen many lately while he's been swinging the hot bat.
13 RBIs in his last 15 games. Marlon Byrd has a busy night out there. He's on the run. He won't get there. It rolls off the wall. Aaron Hill heads for third. He'll stop there. And Cody Ross is in at second with his 16th double. And Bob, you mentioned it. Now this time the Diamondbacks have the rally with no outs instead of 2 outs.
And with that in mind, Terry Collins has his bullpen cranking it up down there. Boy, nice piece of hitting there. Fastball up and out over the plate. We know, given his druthers, Cody Ross would rather pull the ball from left center around to the left field foul pole, but stayed right on that ball, drove it down in the corner. Aaron Hill had to make sure and see it down as Marlon Byrd was pursuing that ball over near the bullpen, and Diamondbacks have it cooking. Second and third, nobody out.
And Will Nieves is up. He's 0 for 2. He has twice grounded out. And if he can just come up with one of his patented base hits right here through the infield somewhere, it'll be a 4-2 ball game. In all likelihood. Will's hit safely in 9 of his last 11 games. Two 2-0. Now 90 pitches for Jeremy Hefner, only 49 for strikes. He's walked 3. He has 1 strikeout. Aaron Hill at third, Cody Ross at second.
A little frustrated with himself right there. Got a breaking ball right in the middle of the plate. Thought he should have done a little more with it. Now he's going to have to battle with a 2-strike count.
Pulls it down the line in left. That's a fair ball. Aaron Hill will score. Cody Ross right behind. Nieves heads for second, and he is safe. For 2 Diamondbacks.
so long. Normally it doesn't take Will Nieves 3 at-bats into a ball game to get his first hit, but it's a big one. Dunks that ball down toward the left field corner, easily scoring both base runners, and Will hustles himself into second base. He's in scoring position for Didi Gregorius. Nice going.
A single and a pair of doubles to open up the 6th have ended the night for Jeremy Hefner. New pitcher for New York, Pedro Feliciano. He has appeared in 460 games with the Mets. That is second all-time only to John Franco, and he is back up for the minor leagues. He'll work to Didi Gregorius here with Will Nieves at second and nobody out. Boy, extra base hits, the slugging percentage is going up. So many games, Bob, where 5 hits, 6 hits, 4 or 5 of them would be singles. They'd be scattered when they were really slumping offensively, but that has all changed on this homestand.
Yeah, 3 doubles on Tuesday, 3 more on Wednesday. Probably would have had 3 or 4 on Thursday, but it was an off day, and 5 so far tonight.
Patrick Corbin's night is apparently over. A.J. Pollock is on deck with the pitcher spot due up. 1-1 to Didi Gregorius. Pedro Feliciano on August the 2nd against the Royals made his first big league appearance since October of 2010. A long haul and a long road back, and his contract picked up for the minor leagues. He had pitched for St. Lucie in A-ball, Binghamton in AA, and Las Vegas in AAA. Plays off there, and it's 2-2. Here's AJ on deck, so Patrick Corbin's night is over. Three and two.
Not always easy to do against a tough left-hander, but you'd really like to see Didi move that ball to the right side of the field. Somehow move Nieves up to third base with only 1 out in the inning. Set it up for A.J. Pollock, the pinch hitter, on deck.
Lifts it in the air down the left field line. E.Y. Jr. watches it go into the seats. He'll do it again on 3 and 2. Eight hits for the Diamondbacks, 4 for the Mets. Can't lay off there. That's the strikeout and the first out in the 6th.
Feliciano, when healthy, is the Mets version of Joe Thatcher. He's got that nasty, nearly sidearm delivery, throws a lot of breaking pitches away from the left-handed hitters. That time Didi just couldn't hold up.
Joe Thatcher, the latest addition to the Diamondback bullpen at the trade deadline. Will Harris continuing to stay loose out there. And they will have to go to the bullpen now because A.J. Pollock will hit for Patrick Corbin with 1 out. Feliciano bounces that one up there. It's 1-0. A.J. at 249 for the season. That's right about where he was last year. He hit 247. Difference this year is he's played in 3 times as many games. John Buck will go out there to talk it over. Feliciano has retired all 5 hitters he has faced this year, but they've all been lefties, and now he'll work with the right-hander Pollock.
A.J. pinch hit for Wade Miley in Game 1 of that Tampa series, and Gerardo Parra pinch hit for the pitcher spot in Game 2 of the Tampa series. Those are the only at-bats off the bench in the last 3 days. We've talked about the consistent lineup the last 3 games. Only a couple of pinch hit appearances.
Give you feeling confident enough about things to stay down on that end of the dugout for a change. Well, the Diamondbacks are hitting. 2-0. That's probably a pretty good sign, right? You could look at that and say, yeah, they haven't changed the lineup in 3 games. They haven't really had to use the bench in 3 games.
It usually tells you that your pitchers are getting to a point in the ball game where you're comfortable making the move to the bullpen without pinch hitting for them early in the game.
Here's the 2-0. Feliciano being careful with a right-hander here, but he's fallen behind 3-0. And as we mentioned, after his last 2 starts, both tough luck losses for Patrick Corbin. Diamondbacks able to get him at least some offense here. Four-pitch walk to Pollock. That brings up the top of the order, Adam Eaton. See the score there at Dodger Stadium through 4. The Rays lead the Dodgers 3-0 with David Price on the mound. The Reds earlier tonight beat the Padres in Cincinnati 7-2. Reds just ahead of the D-backs for the 2nd National League wild card. Adam Eaton has been on base all 3 times he's been up there tonight. Singled in the 1st, walked in the 3rd, had an RBI double and scored a run in the 5th.
Adam showing bunt on that first delivery from Feliciano. Wouldn't surprise me to see him try to bunt at some point in this at bat. I mentioned a tough left-handed pitcher on the mound. Low 3/4, nearly sidearm delivery, throws a lot of breaking pitches. That's usually a good time to attempt a bunt for a base hit.
Adam Eaton, a very trendy and popular preseason pick for National League Rookie of the Year. Then it was before the elbow injury that kept him out of the first 89 games. 1-1. High chopper on the bunt. Flores charges. Makes a nice play. Runners move up. Flores is a guy that played a lot of shortstop in the minor leagues. Here comes Terry Collins with the right-handed Prado coming up. He's going to get Feliciano. That's it for Pedro Feliciano. Pitching change for the Mets. We'll take a break.
contrast, the first half he really struggled. The second half he has been absolutely red hot. His last 7 games before tonight, hitting .464. Wednesday against the Rays, 4 for 4, had the home run, drove in 4 RBI. And it was interesting, before the game, Kirk Gibson saying that he and assistant hitting coach Turner Ward, watching a lot of video last year of Martin when he was with the Braves, especially extra base hits, he really pulled the ball a lot. In the first part of the season, he was such a team player, he really tried to advance runners and was going to the opposite field a lot, and as a result he got pitched inside a lot. He's changed that now, and he has been absolutely on fire. He's pulling the ball more and driving in runs. It's been really a marked difference in the first half to the second half, guys.
Sure has, Brad. Martinez hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games. He had an RBI double his last time up, and he'll face David Aardsma here. New pitcher for the Mets. Gets the first strike. It's 0-1 to Prado. Will Nieves at third, A.J. Pollock at second, 2 down. 2 runs in the inning. That one is lifted in the air to right, Marlon Byrd. And they strand 2, but they get 2 in. We are through 6. It is 4-2 Diamondbacks. More offense. Cody Ross a double to get things going after Aaron Hill's single, and then Will Nieves a 2-run double. D-backs lead at 4-2 as we head to the 7th. Upcoming pitching matchup tomorrow. 4:30 pregame show. Zach Wheeler for the Mets, one of the pitching stars of the future here for this organization. And he'll take on Brandon McCarthy. Looked very good at Fenway Park in his return from injury. He was out 2 months. So Wheeler McCarthy, your Chevron next game matchup. Join us here at Chase Field tomorrow for Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead day. Brandon McCarthy will be on the mound tomorrow. Right now for the Diamondbacks, it's the reliever Will Harris, his 37th appearance of the season. He last worked on Wednesday against Tampa Bay. A 1-pitch outing for Will. He gave up a 2-run double to Evan Longoria. He'll face the pinch hitter here, Mike Baxter. Baxter hitting for the pitcher's spot. So 9-1-2 here in the Mets 7th.
207 on the season for Baxter, but 6 for 17 as a pinch hitter off the bench.
Nice little bell tie hop for Aaron Hill, 1 away. Some Jello shots out there, and some a lot of wristbands. Seem to be trying to trade wristbands for a drink.
Been done before. How about that watch?
Something else, huh? EY Jr., the switch hitter, will turn around at bat left-handed against Will Harris. So far, he's 0 for 3. This is not a good matchup for Junior, who's 50 points better from the other side. There's the strike, 0-1. UI Junior, Chandler Gilbert Community College, a 30th round pick by the Rockies in 03. That one is sort of rolled to third there with the infield in on the edge of the grass. Eric Chavez collects it. And quickly 2 down here in the 7th. Will Harris has been scored on in 3 of his last 7 appearances. His last 5 1/3 innings, he's given up 8 hits, but so far 2 quick outs. And now here's Juan Lagares, who's 0 for 3. Lagares since July the 1st hitting over 320. From San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. 24 years old. Well, this looks like, Bob, it'll be shaping up to be a pretty good test for the Diamondback bullpen here with a 4-2 lead.
Ooh. Nasty curveball from Will Harris.
He'll throw that pitch about 30% of the time.
That one started just below the belt, ends up in the dirt. That one went straight down.
A strike away from a 1-2-3 7th. Right field. Cody Ross will not cut it off. It rolls to the wall. Lagares heads for second, and he wants 3. They got him! Another well-executed relay by the Diamondbacks. First it was getting Bird at home, and now Lagares at third. Home half of the 7th, it's 4-2. Of the weekend, Patrick Corbin starts the series. The D-backs are winning. No Matt Harvey, we avoid him, but everybody wants a Goldie bobblehead. And that's the answer to the AT&T Twitter poll question. Really perfect timing for Joe Borowski. We've got the gold version of the Goldie bobblehead right here with Joe.
I need to get one of those. I put in a pre-order and they said, no, too bad.
You weren't on the list?
No, I wasn't on the list.
We're going to auction off this one, hold on, as well as this one tomorrow at the ballpark. So this is our actual.
I got to get in on that.
These have been up here in the booth with us.
This one's seen some game action.
Yeah. It's game used.
So that one's worth a little bit
We'll
more.
authenticate that as game used. You have to be excited about Patrick Corbin, Joe. It's typical Patrick Corbin, I guess. So maybe a little more erratic than usual.
But that's what's impressive about. I'm going to flat out say it, the ace of your staff. You're not going to have your best stuff every single start of the season, but it's those pitchers, those elite pitchers, that when they're having trouble locating their pitches like they normally do, he still finds a way to only give up 4 hits and 2 runs. Gets through 6. Gives your team a chance to win, and that's what Patrick's done all year this year.
Some changes for the Mets as Paul Goldschmidt leads off the 7th here. Gonzalez Edelman is the new pitcher for the Mets. Goldie has struck out and walked twice. He's 0 for 1. So on the defensive changes there, Baxter in left, and EY Jr. replaces Lagares in center. It's interesting that you hesitated to say that.
Well, it's tough to coronate a guy who's a rookie as the ace of your staff.
I like that word, by the way, coronate. Nice work.
But I mean, he just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Every start, he just keeps cementing himself in there, and it's tough to say he's not, even though he is such a young kid. I mean,
are we kind of past the point of no return on that?
I think so. Yeah. I think we saw glimpses of it early in the season. We were just talking about his mound presence. He just seemed like a veteran when he was on a mound. He was cool, calm, collected. He just seemed like he was at ease out there, and you just see it. He's got all the confidence in the world out there.
Edelman bounces that one. It's 3-1 to Goldie. It's going to be a good test for this bullpen here. I mean, Will Harris did a great job.
Yeah.
Now we see Heath Bell, we just showed you, warming up. Have you had people trying to see if you could get him a bobblehead?
Well, a lot of people have said, "Are you doing a game on Saturday?" I'm like, yeah. Do you get one of those? Can you get me a few? I'm like, I don't know. They're not going to give me one. I don't have a ticket.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, you have to have a ticket to actually get one.
No, I'm a little worried.
I go through the media gate, and I don't know if they're going to hand them out there.
I hadn't thought of that.
I'm gonna ask Bob to pull a couple strings for me.
Well, we've already volunteered to give ours away, so BB, you and I could be left short-handed here.
Well, we get to see Goldie live every day, though. I think we better keep an eye on these when Joe leaves the booth. Just as a word of advice, sounds like he is really wanting those bobblehead dolls.
I'll have to ask somebody if they want to trade the Garden Gnome, maybe.
Another 3-2 count to Paul Goldschmidt, but he strikes out. You're going to give away your Wade Miley Garden Gnome?
I'll trade away a Wade Miley Garden Gnome for maybe the gold version of the Goldie bobblehead.
Where do you while we're on the subject here, where do you sort of rank the rotation right now? If tomorrow was opening day, clearly Corbin would be your one.
Yes.
Right?
And
granted, this can change over the course of the next 5 or 6 weeks. But where do you go from there?
If you're looking at it now, I think Miley, with the way he's pitched, he's really cemented himself in there. It looks like he righted the ship from the inconsistencies he had earlier on in the year. Now you're getting into the who knows, who could be a 3 through 5. Delgado's pitched really well, although his last start, wasn't one of his best, but he's pitched very well through stretches. McCarthy, although his first start against Boston wasn't as sharp as he will as he gets more outings out there. It's tough 3 through 5. 1 and 2 I think are easy.
Yeah, it's very close, but I think that speaks to the depth, and of course part of that depth involves Archie Bradley. And everyone's waiting. When is Archie
That'll be
Bradley?
Interesting, yeah. He's putting up ridiculous numbers.
Where are you on the Archie Bradley front? Is it a good idea?
I think it's good to give him a little bit of a taste in the experience up here. I think the corrections he made from the previous year to this year with knocking his walks down, definitely warrants a look up here, possibly in September.
Speaking of Archie Bradley, he was a starter and winner tonight for the Mobile Bay Bears. 7 innings, 5 hits, 10 punch-outs, no walks.
That's the key, Bob, the walks. What he's done with his walk ratio this year is excellent.
Because that was his big issue last season, right?
Absolutely.
Control.
When you're a starter and you're a power pitcher like he is, and you're getting a ton of strikeouts, but you're walking a lot of guys, that pitch count runs up quick. You're burning your bullpen every time you're going out there. So now that he's throwing more strikes, he's learned how to get outs in the strike zone. He's become a much better pitcher.
Marlon Byrd. Boy, everything that's been hit to Marlon Byrd has been hit right at him. But I've seen him sort of stutter step out there all night long.
You know what's a great sign, though, Steve, is that they're hitting on the line now. Yeah. This offense is really starting to square balls up, and those balls are going to start dropping sooner or later, but it's great to see they're just getting extension and really getting through the ball.
Yeah, a lot of hard hit balls in this game tonight, right from the very beginning. Squaring them up, line drives, base hits, extra base hits. Good to see.
Aaron Hill is 2 for 3 with a run scored. Down the line in left, and that's a foul ball. Boy, you know what? This is another thing that's great to see, and Bob and I have talked about it, Joe, over the last couple of games. He's starting to make his living in that little corner down there in left field.
Yeah, and everybody knows when he's right. He's a pull hitter, but he's starting to really square stuff up. He's out of that spring training mode. When he came back from the injury, he was getting his timing back, getting his swing back. Now you're starting to see him square balls up on a more consistent basis.
You wonder at what point the opponents are going to play the I formation defense. Just put 8 guys right down the third base line.
Yeah, over his last 10 games, Aaron Hill batting just under 360. And that's the way they line up against him right here.
The Rays add to their lead 6-0 over the Dodgers, top half of the 5th inning.
David Price still out there. And this is the 3rd straight game that we've been able to see this Goldie, Chavez, Hill, right, left, right, 3-4-5 mix right in the middle of the order.
And that's what I think the Diamondbacks envisioned was being able to stagger that lineup like that. But now guys are getting fully healthy, and they're starting to deliver what everyone thought coming out of spring would be.
Something that we've been waiting for. We know everybody gets healthy. All the pieces are there. Granted, we don't have Miggy in there right now, of course, but guys are starting to get healthy at the same time, and suddenly the production's coming up.
And this is the right time. You're getting into the middle of August. This is when you want all your horses to start getting healthy for that playoff run going into September.
Ederman is run it full to Aaron Hill. Cody Ross is on deck.
I was thinking about that old saying, Joe, and I know you've heard it a million times. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Absolutely.
But now we're getting into that sprint part of the season. You know, it's a marathon in April and May and June and July, but when you get down to the middle of August and September, it's time to turn it on.
2-out walk to Aaron Hill, who's aboard for the 3rd time tonight, and here comes Cody. Cody Ross 1 for 3, doubled and scored his last time up back in the 6th. Martin Prado has been on fire for the last 6 weeks or so. We've talked about Chavez and Aaron Hill, and Cody Ross is another guy. That's a fair ball. It's by Flores at 3rd. Aaron Hill will stop there, and Cody Ross is in at 2nd with his 2nd straight double, his 17th on the year. Let's make Martin Prado and Cody Ross our APS Energy All-Stars, and better late than never. Look at these numbers lately for these guys.
And we talked about Prado in the open of the show with just a mention of Cody Ross, but these 2 guys have really been getting it done.
Well, last time Will Nieves came up with 2 on, he delivered a 2-run double. And he's got a chance to break this thing wide open right here. Aaron Hill on 3rd, Cody Ross on 2nd, 2 outs. And here is Nieves, who's 1 for 3. Josh Satin at first takes away 2 RBI from Wilde Evis and keeps it a 4-2 ball game. Joe, thanks. We'll see you in the postgame show.
Definitely looking forward to it.
8th inning on the way. Link, your link to what's next. By Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. Back at Chase Field, beautiful night to be here. Diamondbacks and Mets set for the 8th inning. D-backs lead at 4-2, and a host of changes here for Kirk Gibson. Starting on the mound, the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks is the Heath Bell Experience. His 49th appearance, he's got more strikeouts than hits allowed, and a walk rate that's the lowest of his career.
Boy, and over his last 11 outings, he has been nails. 11 1/3 innings pitched, no runs, no walks, 15 strikeouts.
All right, we'll start defensively with Martin Prado, who moves from left field to third, replacing Eric Chavez. Cody Ross takes over for Prado in left, and Gerardo Parra is out there in right field. He'll take over for Cody. So it's Ross, Eden, and Parra left to right in the outfield, and Prado at third. Daniel Murphy leads off the Met 8th. He singled and scored his last time up. The "Let's Go Mets" chant gets booed down once again.
Well, when you mention Mr. Met, you think of that big baseball-headed mascot that they have at Citi Field. But the real Mr. Met we all know is David Wright. You go back to the beginning of the 09 season, he leads the Mets in just about every offensive category. And I think a lot of people would be surprised that Daniel Murphy is second on most of those lists.
Cody Ross on the run coming in. And he can't quite get there. Murphy's aboard.
Since 09, Murphy has a .287 batting average. David Wright .293. He's got 177 extra base hits. David Wright with a 90 extra base hit lead in that category, and second to David Wright in hits over the last 4 seasons.
So a bloop single here against Bell by Murphy leads off the 8th. Here's Marlon Byrd, who tripled back in the second and was thrown out at the plate trying to stretch it into an inside the park home run. Along the way with all that offense from Murphy, he really has settled in nicely into that second base spot. He came up as another guy, much like Wilmer Flores here has now, a sort of a good hitter without a position, but they found one for him at second. Butch and Thatcher, right and left hand action for the Diamondbacks. Is he a WW?
Oh, yeah. Won't walk. 108 strikeouts against only 24 walks this season. I mentioned his first at bat of the ball game when he tripled high off the wall in center field. It no sooner got out of my mouth. Watched the first pitch. He clubbed the first pitch off the wall in center field.
Lays off that, and it's full 3-2. Josh Satin is on deck. Heath Bell's last appearance was Tuesday against Tampa Bay. Worked a scoreless 8th. Base hit and a strikeout. His 11th straight scoreless appearance. Center field. That drops in for a base hit. Tying runs on base for the Mets with no outs here in the 8th.
First baseman, Josh.
Brings up Josh Satin, who, as we saw to end the 7th inning there, made a tremendous defensive play at first and in all likelihood saved 2 runs.
Yeah, this ball is actually behind him when he makes the play. He's actually reaching out toward foul territory down toward the Mets bullpen when he catches that ball. Tosses on to the pitcher for the out. Nice play.
Now everybody gets lined up defensively where they're supposed to be, with Murphy at second and Bird at first, and no outs for Satin.
He's yet to put down a sac bunt this year.
You like the idea, if you're Terry Collins, of moving the runners along and then trying to tie it on just a routine base hit?
I think with the infield drawn in as far as it is already, I would prefer to go ahead and let Satin swing away. We mentioned earlier in the game he showed in New York he's a good contact hitter, sprays the ball around. He's got some weaknesses in the defense right now.
He rolls that one into right. They will wave Murphy. Power comes up throwing, and everybody changes their mind. Bird is hung up at second base, but he's back safely. Tim Tuffle was windmilling Murphy home and then saw Parra had the ball and put on the brakes.
Tuffle's having a shaky night over there in that third base coach's box. As you said, he was windmilling all the way right here, and then he realizes, wait a minute, that's Gerardo Parra out there. Throws up a late stop sign. Marlon Byrd was about a third of the way between second and third base. He too had to slam on the brakes, but the Mets have him loaded with nobody out.
3 straight singles to open up the 8th against Heath Bell. And now here's Justin Turner. He has driven in both Mets runs, RBI singles in the 4th and the 6th. He's 2 for 3.
Oh, for his previous 18 with runners in scoring position before his 2 RBI hits tonight.
High chopper. Gregorius. A run scores to get the out at first. Didi, it seemed, was looking toward the plate while he was fielding that ball to decide if he had time to make the throw, but Murphy was in there hustling down the line.
Yeah, that high chopper really takes away any possibility of a double play. It was going to be a risky force out at home plate, so Didi does the wise thing. Get an out. Fires across the diamond in time to get Turner at first base. Give him credit for an RBI ground out.
And Bird moves to third, Satin to second. So there's 1 out, tying run at third, go ahead run at second. Here's the rookie Wilmer Flores. Turner has driven in now all 3 Met runs. Flores 0 for 3, flying out his last time up. So far, this series is shaping up to be as dramatic as the 4 games we played at Citi Field.
Better curveball that time by Heath Bell. He bounced the first one up there to fall behind in the count, but comes right back with another one on the second pitch and drops it in there for a called strike.
Well, it ain't easy. A lot of 1-run games, a lot of come-from-behind wins, even after blowing saves, and not a whole lot of 1, 2, 3 ninths. But if Heath Bell could get a strikeout here with a 1-2 pitch to Wilmer Flores, that would go a long way to maintaining that 1-run lead. Got John Buck, the catcher, on deck. Bird at third. Satin at second. Here's the 1-2 to Wilmer Flores. Lost the handle on the bat that time. I think that time he literally threw the bat at the ball.
Yeah, that's a nice piece of defensive hitting right there. You realized he wasn't going to be able to make any kind of solid contact. He'd already committed to swing. He just lets the bat go. You see it come right out of his hands there, just trying to get a piece of it. He's into foul territory. Watching Flores lose the handle on the bat there to foul that borderline pitch off. Best I ever saw, Bill Buckner. Former Cub, former Red Sox. You get to a 2-strike count on Billy Buckner, and he would throw his bat at anything. Foul it off, foul it off, foul it off. Stay alive. Chase your bat down the third baseline. Pick it up, get back in the box, do it again. Just waiting for that pitcher to make a mistake that he could hit a line drive somewhere.
To second base, and Flores delivers the tying run. It's 4-4. Bird is home from third. The Mets tie it up on 3 singles and 2 ground balls. And Satin, the go-ahead runs now at third with 2 down. John Buck, the catcher. He has walked twice and struck out. I gotta say, considering the circumstances there, it's a pretty good at bat by the rookie Wilmer Flores in his first week in the big leagues.
First time he's ever seen Heath Bell out there on the mound. Sure, he got a very quick scouting report from his teammates and possibly their hitting coach Dave Hudgens over there in that first base dugout, but that was pretty good battling at bat for a young hitter.
Now Heath Bell has to strand that go-ahead run at third with 2 outs. Diamondbacks in the home half of the 8th will have Gregorius, the pitcher spot. Oh, check that. Parra after the double switch, and then Eaton. So it's Gregorius, Parra, Eaton in the bottom of the 8th.
'21st blown save of the season for the Diamondbacks bullpen. That's the second most in the major leagues. Now, if you're looking for a silver lining, they've come back to win 10 of those games, which is the most in the majors.
Missed there. It's 3-1. Mike Baxter on deck. Josh Satin at third. He's the go-ahead run. Chavez. Prado spins and throws. And they get the out. Prado in there at third. Handles that one. They strand the go-ahead run. But the Mets get two across. Martin Prado from left to third. That ends the top of the eighth, but it's a 4-4 ball game. The next D-backs legend to be honored in the Legends Entertainment District here in downtown Phoenix. And fans, you can vote now at foxsportsarizona.com/D-backs-legend. You can vote for either Bob Brenly, Steve Finley, Matt Williams, or Kurt Schilling. And then tune into the pregame show August 31st for the unveiling of the newest 42-foot super graphic across from Chase Field. Whole new ball game now, 4-4 bottom eight. New pitcher on for the Mets, one of the most busy pitchers in baseball. Scott Rice, he pitches as much as Brad Ziegler, but he's still in that setup role.
Occasionally we'll lose that strike zone. 25 walks against 33 strikeouts. He was really throwing the ball well when we were in New York earlier this season. Talking about teams that were possibly looking for a left-handed reliever out of the bullpen. Scott Rice's name came up quite often, but still here with the Mets.
Didi Gregorius leads off the Diamondbacks eighth. They have out-hit the Mets 9-8. But now we're tied up again. Gregorius, Parra, Eaton, 8-9-1 here in the eighth. Josh Satin, fair ball right to him, one away. Well, we got a feeling that this might happen based on what happened the last time these two teams played each other. This was a 4-game set, first week of July at Citi Field, and the average game time was 4+ hours between extra innings and rain delays. We were there about 3 weeks. And this one has followed suit. Back and forth we go. Gerardo Parra. Parra with a key pinch hit single and a run scored in the win over the Rays on Wednesday. We'll see if that helps get him going a bit. Gerardo Parra has hit in 5 of his last 7. after a tough stretch. He's been coming around somewhat lately. Josh Satin one more time. 2 up, 2 down for Rice here in the 8th. Heath Bell and Charles Nagy talking over that last half inning. 3 singles and 2 RBI groundouts against Heath Bell, and now it's a 4-4 game. Adam Eaton has been on base 3 times tonight. A walk in the single in the first, a walk in the third. RBI double. He scored a run in the 5th. He's 3 for 4. One and two.
It's kind of rare to see a left-hander come in and face a left-handed batter and throw 3 fastballs in a row the way Rice just did to Adam Eaton. Normally, once that lefty gets to a 2-strike count against a left-handed hitter, you're going to see some kind of a nasty breaking pitch. Like that. Good take that time by Adam Eaton. Saw that one right out of Scott Rice's hand. Took it in the dirt for ball 2.
Adam Eaton, 16 hits in 21 games since his return from the elbow injury. He's even 2-2. Gets the strikeout. 1-2-3-8 for Rice. We'll head to the 9th. It's 4-4. Plays of the game, some outfield relays. Worked to perfection by the Diamondbacks. Marlon Byrd out at the plate. Juan Lagares out at third.
I got it. Oh, that's great. You could hear the call by Adam Eaton on that ball in the gap in right center field. Another perfect relay. The 30th outfield assist of the season for the D-backs, leading the National League.
And it'll keep it a 4-4 ball game as we start the 9th. And the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Brad Ziegler, his 58th appearance this year. A 4-1 record, 7 saves, an ERA just barely over 2.
Standard operating procedures for most managers: use your closer to save a tie at home because you get the last at bat in this ball game in the bottom half of the 9th inning.
Mike Baxter, who came into play left field, he grounded out in the 7th. Hard to right, Gerardo Parra. Hey fans, Saturday, August 17th, the premiere of America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1, and it all kicks off with an epic battle between Shogun Rua and Chael Sonnen on UFC Fight Night. Live coverage begins Saturday, August 17th at 5 p.m. Pacific, only on America's new sports network. It's Fox Sports 1. Leadoff man Eric Young Jr. is 0 for 4. Center field, Adam Eaton goes momentarily on that, but able to close coming in. 2 down.
I think he was surprised to see another ball hit in the air against Brad Ziegler.
Yeah.
2 fly balls in a row. That is a rarity with Ziggy on the mound.
So the pitcher spot is up here, and we will see former ASU Sun Devil Ike Davis hit. Ike, of course, from Chaparral High School in Scottsdale, first-round pick out of ASU, the 18th overall selection by the Mets in the 08 draft. And after hitting rock bottom earlier this year and losing his big league spot, back and really hitting well for the Mets lately. He's hit better than 400 over his last 10 games. Also over the last 10 games, Ike Davis has 12 walks. 12. So the plate discipline, which had been an issue, is also vastly improved lately.
It's amazing how many times those things go hand in hand. You start to see the ball a little better. You start to hit it a little better. You take your walks. When you're struggling, it seems like you're 0-2 every at bat, chasing pitchers' pitches. When you're feeling good at the plate, you lay off those borderline pitches and get something better to hit later in the at bat.
He went to AAA Las Vegas, hit almost 300 there with 7 homers in 21 games, and was back on July 5th. Close, but he lays off. It's 2-2. Ike Davis went 3 for 5 in his return from the minor leagues, and since he's been back, he's hit almost 290. Dropped that one in there for the strikeout. A 1-2-3 ninth for Brad Ziegler. 4-4, bottom 9 coming up. percentage is going up with all these Diamondback doubles. Corbin, Eaton, Prado all doubled in the 5th. Ross, Nieves doubled in the 6th. Ross doubled again in the 7th. Double your fun.
That was a big one by Will Nieves. Give the Diamondbacks their 3rd and 4th run in this ball game.
We're set for the bottom of the 9th in a 4-4 game. Another close high wire act between the Mets and Diamondbacks. New pitcher for New York is the right-hander. This is the veteran Scott Atchison. He is just recently off the DL, making his 28th appearance this year. He has not allowed an earned run in 8 1/3 since he returned from the disabled list. Martin Prado looks at a strike, 0-1. Prado 1 for 4, RBI double in the 5th. It is Prado, Goldschmidt, and the pitcher spot here in the 9th. Rocket into the seats behind the Met dugout. Martin quickly down 0-2.
Big curveball there from Atchison. He features a sinking fastball, a cut fastball, and a very occasional curveball. He also has a straight changeup that he rarely uses.
He's off there. He's back even. 2-2. Scott Atchison, 37 years old, from Denton, Texas. He's a TCU Horned Frog. Originally a 49th round pick by Seattle in the '98 draft. He has been around. Right back at you. Paul Goldschmidt has walked twice and struck out twice. How about Goldzilla on the eve of Goldie bobblehead night here at Chase Field? There's a strike, 0-1. Goldie has hit in 5 of his last 7, including 3 home runs. Pitcher spot is due up. Jason Kubel is in the on-deck circle. Driven to right field. Marlon Byrd at the wall, and that ball is Goldie gone. That's a Fulton home run. Another $150 goes to Central Arizona Mountain Rescue, and the Diamondbacks get their 7th walk-off win on Paul Goldschmidt's 27th home run this season. His 2nd walk-off home run both this year. And what is shaping up to be perhaps an MVP season for the D-backs first baseman.
And that is one of the things that makes him so dangerous. A lot of home run hitters have to pull the ball to be effective. Not Paul Goldschmidt. Pitchers try to stay away from him. He'll drive the ball out of here to the opposite field. That was just a hanging cutter up in the middle of the plate, stays with it and drives it out of here near the RamTrucks.com pool, setting off a celebration in that third base dugout.
Diamondbacks 24th one-run win. That is the most in the major leagues. Let's go downstairs. Brad has Paul Goldschmidt.
The man of the hour, Paul Goldschmidt, as he gets the Gerardo Parra treatment. That looks good on you again. It has to feel great to come through in a situation like that. 27th home run of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun anytime you win, especially a walk-off. good game back and forth kind of the whole way, and great crowd tonight. Nice to get the win.
When you go up in a situation like that, what's your mindset?
Just try to get on base. Said, let the guys hit me in, and luckily I was able to hit it hard and get out here.
Plenty of extra base hits for this team, 6 doubles in the last couple of games against the Rays. This offense seems to be finding its stride right now.
I mean, the pitching's been carrying us in the second half. If we just scrape across a few runs, we can win. So hopefully we can keep it going.
Paul, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you can take that hat off now. Paul Goldschmidt as the D-backs rack up their 32nd come-from-behind win in dramatic fashion. Guys, we'll set it back up to you.
7 walk-off winners, 24 one-run wins, and 23 wins in their last at-bat. All those the most in the major leagues, and the Diamondbacks take the opener of this 3-game series in dramatic fashion. Let's go out to center field now. Todd and Joe are out there. The guys probably celebrating.
Yeah, we are. Thank you, Steve. We'll get back to you and Bob in just a bit. Diamondbacks Live coming up in just a matter of moments. First of all, he looks like he just got a first down on the 1-yard line.
That he does. I think that was Prado right there.
Secondly, I just love the fact that he left the bubblegum hat on.
Yeah, you got to roll with it.
Yeah,
you got to have fun with it.
All right, so Joe, when we come back and we kick off Diamondbacks Live, where are you going to go with this? It looks like every facet of the game is sort of helping each other out with the Diamondbacks. Can you weave that into your storyline?
Yeah, we're definitely going to weave that in, and you hit exactly right, Todd. Each part, when the other part doesn't do so well, is picking it up, and that's the momentum, and that's why they have a 3-game winning streak.
All right, we'll set the table and bring you back in a matter of moments here to Chase Field. High drama, and once again, the walk-off from Paul Goldschmidt on a shot that I'm sure was felt all the way to Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, as the Dodgers are trailing Tampa right now. When we come back, more post-game reaction inside the clubhouse. Kirk Gibson, Steve, Bob, Joe Borowski. It's all coming up here on Fox Sports Arizona.